The Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees someone accused of a crime a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. But, sometimes speedy seems relative to the age of the Earth. The real age, not that, well, it's only 4,000 years old and dinosaurs weren't real nonsense. But anyway, Luigi shot that CEO, allegedly, over a year ago. Trial's not set to start until the summer. And in much less serious legal news, aka my wheelhouse, it took over 3 years for Afroman to finally have his day in court over claims of defamation by the very cops who raided his house. Cops sued him for $4 million after they broke into his house. Buckley, what the hell are you even talking about? Also, who the hell is Afroman? Well, it's a hilarious story that I just so happened to have covered in a Patreon exclusive back in 2023. Support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley, new bonus video every single week. But that was 3 years ago. 95% of you haven't seen it, 99.9% of you don't remember it, and it's all relevant again. So let's watch that, and then we'll talk about the outcome. It is hard being a supporter of police in current times. Admittedly, I've been a bit of a bootlicker over the years. Maybe you remember my Respect video, or the St. Patrick's Day riots video, where I suggested, as a very dryly delivered joke, they should gas students who flipped over a news van. The cops around North America just keep doing things ranging from insanely heinous to just plain stupid. We'll keep it a little lighter than talking about shooting a woman in her bed, and focus on the just plain stupid part of that spectrum. A few months ago, police raided the home of 2000's one-hit wonder rapper, Afroman. Yes, the Because I Got High guy. They had a warrant to search his home for evidence of narcotics and kidnapping. The guy who made a song about how he forgot to clean his room and go to work because he was too stoned, the police think this guy is Pablo Escobar? So, they raid his home and find nothing. He lives in Ohio. They don't even have legal marijuana there. So they don't even find that in the home of the guy whose most popular song is about smoking weed. So, Afroman, not thrilled about this, and who just so happens to have security cameras, takes the footage and turns it into a music video. Now, at this point in the video, I played a clip of the song, Will You Help Me Repair My Door, and got a third-party claim. I don't want you to have to sit through 3 double ad breaks in this 12-minute video, YouTube. So let me just describe it. The song mocks the cops going through his suit pockets and CD cases, sarcastically asking, are there any kidnapping victims in my suit pockets, and how many pounds of weed are in my CDs? Another song I didn't mention at the time, Lemon Pound Cake, makes fun of the portly officer who was eyeballing the cake in his kitchen, an interpolated version of Under the Boardwalk with lyrics like, Mama's lemon pound cake, it tastes so nice, it made the sheriff want to put down his gun and cut him a slice. At one point calling him big as hell and a family guy, referencing his Peter Griffin-esque build. Go check him out after. They're hilarious songs. Musically, they're terrible, and Afroman can't sing worth the shit you'd have after eating all that cake, but they are really funny. Alright, back to the video. Okay, so the police had a warrant, they were doing their job, they found nothing, they were given bad information. It's normal to seize large amounts of cash in a drug raid and, disconnect security cameras so there's no evidence of what else the police might be doing in your home, right? Even the most ardent police supporter has to see this footage and go, nah, something seems off about this. The police claim they gave him that cash back after it was determined there were no criminal charges to be filed. Afroman contends they didn't give it all back, and then the sheriff's department went, actually, we just counted it wrong when we told you what we took in the first place, so that's why we didn't return that much. Yeah, whoops. But I'm not even at the worst part yet. The cops who were involved in the raid are suing Afroman. A few weeks ago, 7 officers filed a suit claiming invasion of privacy. I wasn't aware that you had a right to privacy in someone else's home as you rifle through their shit, and say that the video has caused them emotional distress, embarrassment, ridicule, loss of reputation, and humiliation. Oh, did it? Did the embarrassing thing you got caught doing lead to you being embarrassed? Oh no! Well guys, don't make fun of them, okay? Don't laugh at the 4 guys all standing around looting a guy, or the 2 people it took to disconnect his cameras. That's not funny, guys. It's hurtful and mean, okay? No. In the immortal words of Miss Hoover, the children are right to laugh at you. You know who you should be suing? Whoever gave you the false information that led to that warrant. They fucked you over. Cops, come on. If you want me to keep bootlicking, you gotta put a little sugar on that leather once in a while. You know what I mean? This is a moment where you should have humbled yourselves, made a public apology. Here, I'll even write one for you. We here at the Adams County Sheriff's Department in Ohio deeply regret how we handled the execution of the warrant on Joseph Edgar Foreman's home in August of 2022. Our officers used poor judgment in their search and seizure techniques, and we vow to do better in the future. We are doing everything we can to make full restitution to Mr. Foreman and apologize for any distress we may have caused him or his family. There you go. Now what you do is, you drop the lawsuit, you speak those words in front of a camera on your little podiums y'all have, and you take your medicine like a man. Maybe try the medicine you found in Afroman's home. Oh, right. Never mind. All caught up? Good. Now at this point, we know the cops did not take my advice and issue that apology and drop the lawsuit. They stuck with it for 3 years. And just last week, after all that waiting, it took a jury about 3 days of listening to both sides and then a couple hours of deliberation to find Afroman not guilty. News outlets reported, Afroman wins lawsuit. Not to be pedantic, but technically the cops lost. Afroman was simply found not guilty of defamation. Let me take you through some of the highlights, though. Afroman's lawyer, in his closing statement to the jury, said, "No reasonable person would expect a police officer not to be criticized. They've been called names before." What a defense! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if I may cite the 1988 works of Mrs. Dre, Ren, Cube, and E, fuck the police. I'm not sure anyone's ever won a defamation lawsuit by saying, well, they've been made fun of before, so what's the problem? The lawyer for the cops was worse, though. His closing statement, "A search warrant execution that you think was unfair doesn't justify telling intentional lies designed to hurt people." They are on camera kicking down his door, raiding his closet, and I fucking a cake. No lies detected. .gif. And speaking of cake, this might be the highlight of the trial. Sean Cooley, the cop who was filmed giving that cake the "so you come here often" look, testified that he had received hundreds of pound cakes at work from different people. Hundreds! Not sure what he's complaining about. Normally you have to get one of them fancy Silicon Valley jobs to get free dessert every day as a perk. He says, "It went from being a nice, quiet community, a job you felt safe in, to a place where you had to look over your shoulder every second." What was he afraid of? That someone was gonna run up on him with a bundt cake? Later, the prosecution tried to tug at the jury's heartstrings by having Deputy Lisa Phillips cry on the stand while being forced to listen to a song where Afroman said she would try to eat your wife's pussy, which ended up backfiring. I guess the lawyer asked him if he saw how upset it made her, and Afroman countered with, "Yeah, just like I was upset when she was standing in front of my kids with an AR-15 in her hand around the trigger." Who's the jury gonna feel worse for? A woman mad she got called a lesbian? Or kids being threatened by a gun in a country with a kids being shot problem? Oh, gee, no way to tell which way they'll lean. I made a joke at the beginning of this video about the 6th Amendment, but the heart of this trial was the First Amendment. Did Afroman's right to free speech cover this? And the answer, at least according to this jury, was yes. His lawyer argued that many of the things the deputies found offensive were not facts, but matter of opinion, such as calling one of the sergeants a son of a bitch. When suing for defamation, you have to prove that the statements being made about you are false. Can they prove their mother was, in fact, not a bitch? And the other things that he sang about were facts. The deputies did disconnect his cameras. They did look for kidnapping victims and drugs in his suit pockets and CD binders. They did take his money and then not give him back all of it. Those are all true statements. The guy looking at the cake was big as hell. Afroman would know. He's allowed to say it. If you're fat and someone calls you fat, you can't sue them for defamation. You're fat, fatty. And so, this is a win for free speech. I look forward to the days when people are citing this case as precedent. Your Honor, may I remind you of the Adams County Sheriff's Department versus Afroman, in which the jury confirmed the inalienable rights of man to make a song mocking an obese fella for looking at a cake. And as I said in the original video, that you just watched 4 minutes ago, their beef was never with Afroman. It was with the supposed informant who told them they'd find drugs and kidnapping victims chained to the fucking radiators in Afroman's basement. Why didn't they sue him or her? Because I'm starting to suspect their source was, I made it the fuck up. That some dipshit on the force thought, hey, this rapper guy who rapped about drugs lives in this town. Bet we could find something there. Let's just say we got an anonymous tip. And it backfired horribly. Not being able to find weed at Afroman's house should be like not being able to find your own dick in your pants. Anyway, after the trial, he spoke to TMZ, where he said that one of the officers apologized to him, and while he accepted the apology, he said he's still gonna keep performing the songs at shows, and I guess maybe even keep making new ones. He either uploaded or re-uploaded 5 songs about the cops in the last 2 weeks. So you can say he won the lawsuit, but I think the prize is going to be a lifetime of cops in his rearview mirror, giving him a speeding ticket if he goes 51 and a 50.
Yeah! We did it, America! Yeah! We did it! Freedom of speech! Right on! Right on! Yeah! God bless America!
Yeah. God bless America indeed.